Master Mage, Season 1, Episode 12. At the moment, it seemed the whole fishes under the river were gathering around there and trying to attack Fang. If there were just normal fishes, it was just a piece of cake to Fang. Unfortunately, they were under control by the aquatic monster. They were all wide opening their mouths and showing their sharp teeth in front of Fang. As a group, they were about to attack Fang. Among those angry fishes, there was a very big one with dark blue covered on the body. Fang could not say what that kind of fish was, but the bluefish seemed like the angriest one. It swam towards Fang and tended to bite him. In the middle of the fight, Fang had to be careful. He dodged those fishes' attacks so that he didn't get bitten and found a chance to escape from the school of fish with his less effort. Besides, Fang tried to watch the fishes' attacks to find the best way to get out of them as soon as possible. After watching those fishes' movements, Fang saw a noticeable big fish with a very long body, a big round head, and the two long hairs along with the noses fade in and out among those fishes. He realized that it might be the king of that school of fishes since the other fishes were obviously after that one. He guessed that the Fish King was hypnotized by the aquatic monster and demanded the whole of his school of fishes to attack him. He could escape from there by attacking that Fish King and awakening him. He found an appropriate chance and used his flexible body to go through the gaps in the middle of those demonic fishes surrounding, then threw his magical rope towards the Fish King. The hit was very strong even underwater. Fang hoped that would kill the Fish King in no time. Suddenly, another big fish came in between and saved the Fish King out. Fish's blood was everywhere around the place. Being saved by his members, the Fish King could escape from the strong hit and quickly realized that Fang had known its existence. Later on, the Fish King swam away deeply to escape from the place. Fang guessed that the Fish King would run off. If so, he was hard to escape there. He had to take prompt action. He tried to toss the rope left and right aimlessly to chase the fishes away. Resulting in those fishes had to dodge his rope and swim away from him for a moment. Everything was clear in front of him. He tried his best to throw the rope towards the tended to escape Fish King. The Fish King didn't swim too far. Fang's rope hit the kingfish's eyes and made him blind instantly. Getting the severe injury, the Fish King fell into a panic and swam for his life deeply to the river bottom. Without the king, the school of fishes quickly dismissed around Fang. Finally, Fang was able to escape from the annoying fish. After a few rope tossing, Fang had broken the fish trap, which had been set up by the aquatic monster. Without hesitation, Fang shortly swam towards the ancient tomb, where the aquatic monster was hiding surely. Fang had no ideas who had erected a tomb down the river. No matter how dangerous it might come to him, he swam down to the ancient tomb's direction. He was so determined to end up the aquatic's monster life that day. It was not easy to get into the sunk tomb. Fortunately, Fang's body could fit in. Right now, he got into the door. Fang was surprised by the spacious brick hallway inside. After a dozen meters, some lights were shining in front of him, which made Fang dazzled. That was such an ancient tomb. Stuff was scattered around. A stone coffin in the middle had caught Fang's eyes shortly. That must be the only place the aquatic monster could hide, as well as the dark spirit he had heard from the fish demon earlier. Fang slowly swam towards the stone coffin. The closer he swam towards the coffin, the clearer he could see things around. He had to eye-rolled from what he had seen. There was a bunch of corpses scattering next to the coffin. From the size of the corpses, he guessed they had kidnapped kids from the village. Those innocent kids must have been dragged down there by the aquatic monster years ago. That drove Fang angrier and wanted to end the aquatic monster's life as soon as possible. Out of the blue, his face got pale. From those scattering corpses, the spirits of those kids emerged in front of Fang. They looked very irritated and tended to plunge towards him. They were likely to want to release their waves of anger in the Fang, who didn't know what he was supposed to do next. Fang didn't want to hurt those innocent kids, but if he just stayed put, he was going to be killed. While Fang was stuck in the middle of his messing thoughts, those spirits had come closer to him and dragged him out of there. He realized that his soul was likely to be dragging out of his body. He was very confusing. He stood there frozen. He was unable to control his own body anymore. Without knowing what to do next, he tried to turn his body around to dodge. His soul was nearly getting out of his body. Just in a blink of an eye, those kids' spirits had grabbed and dragged his soul out. Fang recalled that his master had taught him about the spirit-taking demon. He has blamed himself for being careless. Every second flew by. Fang was losing his consciousness, and everything was like a mess to him. He knew very well that he would die shortly without his soul. He had to stay focused on escaping from that dangerous situation. He should not be that dumb in front of those evil spirits from the start. Fang closed his eyes and spelled the conjuring incantation on his own body. He pulled himself together and bit his tongue until it shed blood, then used that blood and stirred up with his saliva in his mouth. He tried his best to spit his saliva towards those evil spirits, made a blood circle covered his body. Fang's blood was fading to the water around him. The method was a bit disgusting, but it worked on those evil spirits. His blood and saliva brought pureness and scared the evil spirits away. Right, smelling Fang's pure blood, the spirits had been dropped his soul back and stampeded in all directions. They didn't dare to come any closer to Fang. Fang retrieved his soul back in front of those angry evil spirits. Once his soul got back to the body, he shortly decided to offend. He mumbled the attacking incantation, then jumped his legs to the floor of the ancient tomb with all of his strength. He posed a Big Dipper pose by the legs and made a magical sign with his hands. He had practiced the pose very hard earlier with his master multiple times. At that moment, he realized why his master was always hard on him when teaching him. Shortly, the sign worked. Fang started to move his body around the evil spirits. Those evil spirits got attacked by the Big Dipper magic, which was making for Requiem purpose. Fang wanted to help those spirits on releasing their waves of anger and came to their afterlife. They would no longer be detained under the cold river bottom. Fang speedily spun around those spirits. Eventually, he made a portal that covered those spirits. He shouted out the Requiem incantations afterward. Every time Fang spelled out the incantation, the portal shrank a little and dragged those spirits inside, resulting in the spirits screamed around the place horribly. Fang knew that he could not be softened at the moment. He shouted out the last incantation, "Start." Right then, those spirits flew into the portal and towards the tomb's peak. Those angry spirits had been imprisoned under the river because there was a sealing spell around the tomb. Fang had broken the sealing spell along with the Big Dipper trap and paved the way for the kids' spirits out. Got back to our great master. He had waited for a long amount of time at the river bank already. However, his apprentice was still disappearing down the river. Master Jackie and Sam were staring at the river's surface, getting worried sick. They wanted to know what happened to Fang badly. Out of nowhere, they had witnessed a water bar rising high up and many spirits coming out from there. They screamed out painfully. The great master was furrowing his eyebrows, while Sam fell into a panic. He held his master's hand tightly and hid behind Master Jackie's back. Later on, those spirits flew straight up to the sky and turned to dust under the shining sun. Master Jackie read the scene instantly. He spoke up those spirits belonged to innocent kids who had been kidnapped by the aquatic monster and had been released out thanks to Fang's requiem. Master Jackie could give a light sigh. He assured that Fang was about to acquire the aquatic monster sooner or later. He sensed that the dark spirit of the aquatic monster was not released yet, and Fang must have struggled down there for another long while. Master Jackie continued looking back to the river worriedly. He knew his apprentice was not totally covered by the injury caused by the aquatic monster earlier. Regarding Fang, he had finished releasing the spirits, but he had spent a large amount of his aura on the requiem. Plus, his soul had been dragged out earlier, weakened his strength already. He was uncertain that how long he could stand there. His vision was a blur, his legs had been softened, and he started to kneel down. Fang got dizzy. He was likely to faint, but if he falls into a coma at the aquatic monster's place, it will be dangerous for him. That place was way too deep under the river. Master Jackie was no way to help him out. He tried to pull himself together and stand up straight from behind. The dust got shaken suddenly, and something was walking towards him. That was the aquatic monster. He had hidden there and awaited his chance. Seeing Fang spent his large amount of aura on the requiem, that was his golden chance to attack Fang, so he tried his best to grab Fang from behind. Fang got no power left to fight with the monster, to be honest. He was unable to move and dodge the sudden attacks. All he was capable of doing at the moment was covering his face with his hands. The aquatic monster wide opened his mouth and bit the exhausted Fang. He didn't care Fang's pureblood was going to hurt him. He wanted to sacrifice his life and brought Fang to hell with him. He grinned his teeth with Fang's flesh in the middle. Fang sensed the monster's sharp teeth were plunged deep into his hand already. He wanted to have good use of his hand to destroy the monster for good. His pure blood poured into the monster's throat and reduced the monster's strength, notably. Fang didn't just stay put then. He tried his best to use the other hand to throw the rope into the aquatic monster's body strongly. He shouted out that how dare the monster bit him. He was going to hit the monster to death. From how Fang threw the rope, he must have been very tired already, but the rope again worked magically. It tied up the monster's body. Fang had used his last power on the final throw. The rope had been made by the Great Master. The more aquatic monster struggled to escape, the tighter it tied the monster up. In no time, Fang made a magic sign and pushed towards the monster. The rope was strengthened and tied up the monster tighter while he was trying to escape consecutively. The monster was struggling in despair and screamed out terribly. The monster stopped screaming a few moments later, and the eye popped out. It looked very terrible. That was the first time the monster got in that pain. His body was cut out by the rope into pieces and scattering around the place. Resulting in the dark cloud of smoke flew out of the monster's pieces of the body. Those pieces got back into his original form as the drowned man's body's parts. The cloud of dark smoke stirred into the water. Fang gave a light sigh. Everything had been done. The only thing left to him was destroying the core evil spirit inside the coffin before Fang could get back to his family. Fang swam closer to the coffin to check out. He tried his best to open the coffin. He had no power left, so even with how hard he tried, the coffin could not be opened easily. Finally, after a long while of pushing, Fang could make it open the coffin. He gave his eyes inside. He had to step back once seeing another cloud of smoke which looked like a human form, flew out up high to the tomb's peak as well. That must have been the aquatic monster's core spirit. The monster's body had been destroyed, so the core spirit had no place to parasitize. It was going to turn into smoke in no time and followed the kid's spirit's escaping way. To make sure, Fang looked back at the coffin once again. Inside there was only a skeleton that might be the core spirit's body. Fang stood there a little while and watched the corpse inside. He saw a black pearl in the mouth of the corpse. Out of curiosity, he picked up the black pearl, which is around the size of a demon fish's. He put the black pearl in his bag and also some of the treasure in the coffin. He was supposed that was his reward after all of the hard work and getting an injury. Out of the blue, the tomb got vibrated badly. The stones had been fallen apart. Fang knew that the tomb was about to be sunk shortly, just like Yan's house, which resulted from the spirit inside being released. Fang had to make a quick leave. Such a shame. All of the valuable things inside the coffin were about to be sunk along with the tomb. The tomb got shaken badly. Stone by stone had been fallen into Fang's feet. Fortunately, he was underwater, so the gravity was not like in the ground. Fang was easily moving out of the place without getting any injury from those stones. He loved the valuable stuff, but his life was way more valuable. He swam for his life out of the tomb and back to the river bank. Regards the worried Great Master and the little Sam. They kept focusing on the river's surface for Fang's whereabouts. Out of a sudden, the little boy pointed towards the river and shouted out in a panic. A wave had been formed over there with a black cloud of smoke along. That must have been the dark spirit released out along with a strong wave. Master Jackie knew that Fang had finished the evil spirit already, and there must have been a sunk event under the river. Master Jackie got worrier for Fang. If Fang didn't make a quick move, he would be sunk along with the tomb down there regardless he had the fish demon's pearl. Fang was still nowhere to be found. The wave got stronger and stronger. Master Jackie was about to dive into the river. He saw another wave, and Fang appeared from afar. The Master and Sam rushed towards Fang happily. Thanks to the demon fish's pearl, Fang escaped from the release wave and made it out of the water. But at the moment, he got exhausted already. If the Great Master and the little boy didn't come to pick him up, he would be unable to stand up straight. For the first time throughout his days with Master Jackie, he made a great achievement to kill a monster. Master Jackie had to give him compliments, which made Fang was very proud and flattered. Fang gave them a happy smile, then fell into unconsciousness. He must have tried his best already to defeat the monster.